by Bapak Adi Jaya. For Bapak Adi Jaya, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Namo Buddhaya. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored to have Prof. Jayangaran Kundan in this first plenary session. But let me introduce him first. The name is Prof. Jayangaran Kundan, and he works at the Department of Language and Humanities Education, Faculty of Educational Studies, University Putra, Malaysia. His field of specialization is English language and literature teaching material, the teaching of writing, ELT teacher development. I downloaded his CV just now. It is around 61 pages, so that's why I simply sum up the achievement that he got. He is appointed professor English language teaching, 2011. Winner National Award for Academic Excellence, 2014. Recipient Vice Chancellor's Award, 2013. And awarded Anugerah Pengajaran Putra Teaching Award, 2007. Involved in more than 28 funded research projects. Publication include more than 80 journal articles, 23 chapters in books, 5 books, and 55 edited books. Supervised and helped successfully graduate more than 20 PhD students and 30 master students. Inventor of the first computerized tool for evaluating ELT textbooks, 2010, and also software for the subjective evaluation of textbooks. Gold medals at the British Invention Show and ICEAC in Germany. And also inventor of first online textbook evaluation checklist. And there are others. The project starts with problems about textbook use, and then it relates much to the creativity of the teachers, as teachers always complain about textbooks. However, the entire teaching life has been dependent on textbooks. And according to him, textbook seems not only guide teachers towards meeting curricular objectives, but also guide the learners towards the examinations. But many teachers are aware that despite sometimes up to 11 years, those learners go through learning the language, as is the case of Malaysia. Many cannot even speak language after finishing school. So this is his concern there. So please welcome Prof. Jayangaran. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi, thank you so much. As you know, when you grow older, it's difficult to remember all the names that you're supposed to know. Thank you. My topic is very simple: how creative teaching can overcome many of the problems with textbook use. I'm always amazed by my students. I am a teacher trainer, I must tell you first. And so I teach people to become teachers of English. And so when I first started out teaching English, I never had a clue that I was going to end up in the classroom, because I was forced to go into teacher training because every other thing was closed for me. And there was only 2 universities at that time in Malaysia, and despite my A-levels, which I got principal level passes, didn't get into university. So I had to go into teacher training, and thank God, my first option was art, and because I loved art, I stayed on in teaching. Alright, so English was like, it came in as okay, this is my taxi, that sort of thing. So I was happy to be in English language teaching, but I never was like many of my students. They are only about 19, 20, some of them. in the undergraduate program and already showing instincts of good teachers. Some people are born, like almost born in the teaching line, you know, they have a natural knack for teaching, and that's the reason why I'm inspired by a lot of things that my students do. I am what I am because of a very slow process. You don't learn things very quickly in the beginning, but as you grow older, you get more and more knowledge, and then you get better and better at what you're doing. I want to tell you that this is not a session to be critical about textbooks and textbooks use. No. I'm telling you that there are alternatives to textbooks. Textbooks are a part of our teaching learning environment, and that's because people have always believed in the power of the book. So why not in education too? Alright? So, how many of you have gone into a classroom and as teachers said, I want to do something different? I want to ask you, how many of you have actually used the textbook to teach, let's say, some aspect of English, like prepositions? You all use the textbook? Yes, David. Excellent, David. You tell me how you teach prepositions in the textbook. Can you teach textbooks, prepositions in textbooks? You can, right? And most of the, how are prepositions introduced in textbooks? Can anyone tell me? Diagrams. Diagrams, very good. And you will find the table usually, and you'll find different objects all around, under, beside the table, and that's how you learn prepositions. But sometimes you bring a student into the classroom, come. Yes, oh my gosh, it's shocked me, believe. Come, take a walk, take a walk. Okay, you come. This pretty girl here is one of my students, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to not use the mic because we are all teachers face this way. And I say, class, today we are going to revise some things that we did last week. Alright? My God, that's my fly friend, Flo. Okay, that's my fly friend. Can you see my fly friend? Can you? You can? There you are. Yeah, that's my fly friend. Now I'm going to do my fly friend's little things now. We're going to practice some of the things that we learned last week. Look at him, Flo. He's going right through and out here. Now the fly here. Raise your arms. Yeah. Where do you think the fly is now? Right? Okay, sit down. Now, you see, if you're a teacher and if you actually start thinking that the textbook can do everything, you're wrong. Because half the time we don't captivate our students' attention, we don't bother, we say, okay, we've done prepositions, it's ticked off in my lesson plan, it's ticked off in my curriculum for the year, it's done, prepositions done. Not realizing the foreign language learner needs more than that. You know, one trip to Hamleys in London, and I got these two. these actually were my flies. You see? So they bought them from Hamleys for about £40. It was a huge investment on my part because, you know, when I went to Hamleys to buy this £40 box, okay, it's such a simple little thing like this. You see? There you are, magic lights, okay? And you start, there are about 60 different light tricks you can do. All of them different aspects of language you can teach. But you need to do some investment, you know, in life. And so if you think that the textbook can do everything, then you may be right because you feel that way and you feel strongly so. No, I want to postpone this. It's trying to restart. So the textbooks have got numerous complaints. I must tell you this. If you look at the complaints on textbooks, you find that Sheldon, you know, way back in 1988 says it's necessarily evil. Yeah. Brumfitt says in 79, masses of rubbish skillfully marketed because textbooks are very much so associated with commercialization. Okay, so you have lots of commercial publishers even in Indonesia, like in Malaysia, and they all compete. So they come out with little gimmicks in their textbooks each year, so as to entice people, to buy. Alright? And then I like what Pavana says though, 1999. He says texts are considered dead on page. And it requires all the teacher skills to reanimate them. Oh, it's here too. To reanimate them for the learner. So that's what Pavana says. And that's Pavana's one is better than the other first two. For the simple reason, as a teacher, you remember that you see an activity on a textbook page and you suddenly realize, how on earth am I going to make this activity work? You see? Alright, so these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. Wow, this platform is amazing, isn't it? Huh? Try not to, because I like to be in control. Yeah, control free. But why do we still use textbooks? Now, we all know for sure that they are usually aligned to curriculums. You follow the textbook, you are not going to go astray. You are on that railway track that the Ministry of Education has built for you, or the curriculum developers did. Good for teachers, saves energy required for DIY. If you start going to Hamleys in London to buy magic tricks and do things like that, it costs money. £40 when the exchange rate was so much in favor of the British pound. I paid 4 times 7, 280 ringgit for that. That's a lot of money, right? And then there's a lot of investment in time as well. If you start looking at DIY, do it yourself. Alternatives are also very expensive. A major issue now is, do textbooks support methodologies? Not just methodologies, creative methodologies. Yes, if teachers are skilled and all have wide experience. If you have a teacher who is very skilled, she will look at the textbook and say, okay, I'm going to start off with this dialogue, but this dialogue, I'm going to base it on the principles of audiolingual method, which means I, as a teacher, model the dialogue, and then I get them to practice, all right, together with me, and then I get them to practice amongst themselves, all these drill patterns, and that's audiolingual method, that's fine. What happens if teachers aren't skilled enough to actually incorporate our led methodologies, live in existence with the textbook? Will the textbook allow the teacher to actually put into effect some of the methodologies that the teacher has learned at university? Okay, so that's the question. What methodologies may not feature in a class taught by novice teachers? Novice means beginner teachers. Alright? Many methodologies do not. Only when the teacher is undergoing training and is being supervised by the supervisor at the back, will you have hundreds and hundreds of teaching aids and materials. And after that, after the training period is over, it's back to the textbook. Right? Yeah. Okay, how will textbooks help with, for instance, an example? Teaching adverbs. Would there be dialogues, visuals to help? How can we make teaching adverbs meaningful? What methodologies can we start and have within the process? What principles in teaching need we take into account? Now, I don't think I should go to the next slide, yes. Now, what we do is, let's have a look at adverbs and tell me, how many of you are aware of total physical response? Put up your hands. Total physical response, TPR. There are about 5, 10. Oh, more now. Yeah, some of you are slow starters. Okay, but never mind. Let's say that I was going to teach adverbs. Let's say that I was going to teach adverbs and I told my class, I said, today we are going to do adverbs. What would your reaction be if you were a student? My God, you would just say, oh dear. what was that? Adverbs. What disease is that? How to tell you? Actually telling us that what disease is that word adverbs? You know, in the Malaysian class, the moment the student teacher comes in and says, this is the unit of language we're going to learn, people go into comatose straight away. Understand? You can't revive them. You need to call 45 ambulances to come and get all of them to hospital. So it's impossible, isn't it? So what we do is, if you're a good teacher and you came into class and you have studied your methodologies well and you want to use these methodologies effectively, you will be saying, the textbook can wait. Let me start teaching them something first. The textbook is good for certain things, not for everything. And you tell yourself this. I come into class and I tell them, I say, okay class, last week we did several things. We were introduced to certain things that are already in the classroom, like for instance, this broom here, right? This brush here, right? And this piece of cloth here, right? We introduced everything to you last week, and we did some work in the class. Like what? Can you remember what the work was? No, you don't know, because I only know. Last week, I was teaching in my dreams. Anyway, so what happened was, I told them, okay, this is what we do. Let's revise together. Let's do it together. Okay, stand up, everybody. People in the front don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, but stand up, everybody. Come on. Yeah, the judges can watch. The judges can watch. So, and I said last week, what we did was, okay, we did work around the classroom using the things once again. Okay, let me tell you, this is the broom, this is the brush, this is the cloth. Okay, point to that broom. Point. Yeah, brush. Okay, cloth. Very good. We did all that, right? We practiced all these things. We brought the real things in. Which teacher trainees call realia so fondly. And then we said we practice all this and we also did some work. What did we do? Okay, I'm going to tell you, if you do the actions again, I swept, okay, sweep the floor. Sweep. Okay. I wiped the windows with the cloth. Okay. Then I took the brush, went to the kitchen, brushed the sink. Very good. You guys did that last week and you can remember that this week. You guys are fantastic. Wait. Now, let us try something different now. Okay, sweep the floor. Sweep the floor slowly. Okay, stop. Sweep the floor quickly. Stop. Sweep the floor quickly. Stop. Sweep the floor slowly. Okay, stop. Go to the front room now. Wipe the windows slowly. Wipe the windows quickly. And then so on. Sit down. Wonderful. Sit down. Now what you do is, you have introduced. Guys, we have actually introduced adverbs wonderfully as a follow-up through getting them to use verbs as well. So adverbs came naturally. Alright? Now, after all this, what we do is, of course you want to get them to practice using adverbs and also getting them that there are so many irregular forms of use. But there are some regular forms of use, adverbs too, and the best way you can actually want to do is, you probably want to do this with something different. Something different. Okay? How will that something different be? What resources are you going to use? What resources are you going to use? I will use this.
This is Lee. It's spelled L-Y, and it's very useful. Let me show you. You're wearing your squeaky shoes, and right there taking a snooze is a tiger. So how do you walk on by? Silently, silently, silent. L-Y. You're a secret agent man who's after the secret plan. How do you act so they don't know you're a spy? Normally, normal, L-Y. At an eating contest, you boast that you can eat the most. How do you down your 50th piece of pie? Eagerly, eager, L-Y. On the lake, you're both obsessed, and your clothes got soaking wet. How do you stand and wait for them to dry? Patiently, patiently, patient, L-Y. In the public library, you fall on your journey, but the sign says quiet, please, so how do you cry? Quiet, please, quiet, please, quiet, L-Y. As you walk along the street, a porcupine you meet. How do you shake his hand when he says hi? Carefully, carefully, careful, L-Y. You enter a very dark room, and sitting there in the gloom is Dracula. Now how do you say goodbye?
Now, you think that's the end of it? No, look, I'm telling you this. The whole range of things that you can do prior to an exercise in a textbook will also look like this. Now, if you were teaching writing, for instance, let us say, if you go into a
Hello. Yeah, thank you. My God. Technology, freaks me out sometimes. You're trying to press a button somewhere, it doesn't work. What you do is, you see, when you start going through this and having a repertoire of things to do, all right, and then try to look at ways in which the textbook will work along all these methodologies. The reason why the song was played is because of Lazanov, really. All right, left brain, right brain. All right, left brain, right brain.